Nyamen Dragon Ranger Goja, Tazo Sajeta Jelo, Choso, Chingela Doso, Cholanda Loa Chingela Doso, Lantrobosa Chingela Doso, Trova Chesaja Chingela Doso, Najita Bandala Masola, Jesojo, Sanjal Hatana, Masola Jesojo, Nasabanda Masola Jesojo. Tobe da Trova Chingela Doso, Tujian Trova Chingela Doso, and the Chingela Doso, Chaja Chamber Jojian Mondo, Sandijan Toba Chingela Doso, Sanjapunda Zavala, Kusungo Bachamba Chazalo. The Melano Washabana, Sadan Drovanya Bajelo, or Meji Japanado, to Susanja Kunyan, Rasachu, Savalama Nala, Bujat. Okay. Good morning and good evening. We are basically, I mean, all the Buddhism's main principle is the same. Doesn't matter which vehicle, Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, we practicing. But each one have their own way to practice. Each one they are a little bit different way. It doesn't mean they are different, like each person have their own way to express. Even you talking about the same subject, everyone will not use the same expression. Similar way, Buddha was really skillful that he taught based on what kind of individual can understand what kind of which way. So that way he was really skillfully taught. So that reason it become like a different we call the vehicles, vehicles. But this particular text, Letter to Friend, is basically, as you can say, belong to the Mahayana Path. In the Mahayana Path, it's the practice of the Bodhicitta. In the according to the jewel ornament, Bodhisattvas. What is the training of the Bodhisattva is the three trainings: training of the morality, training of the samadhi, and training of the wisdom, which is the same as a Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Hinayana also have to follow the same, those basic three trainings. So in the Hinayana, how to express those three trainings is according to the Eight Noble Path, like explaining on the Eight Noble Path as how to practice the three trainings. In the Mahayana, and express as a
Khenpo
okay, now I have to meet you, sorry. In the Mahayana, express as a six paramita, like generosity, morality, ethic, patience, perseverance, and method of consultations. So we already talked last week two subjects: generosity and moral ethic. So generosity means that whatever you doing service to the other, physically giving your time, giving your knowledge, giving your protection, giving whatever what we can do, each individual can do. So particularly here, Nagarjuna express as a lay person, is the best way to how to you gift is serve to your loved one, like your parents, kind one, somebody who have been too kind to you, you repay their kindness by, providing whatever necessary for them. That is how we practice of generosity. And moral ethic is, of course, lay people is not same as a monks and nuns vow, but there's it's called the 8 precepts. Like you can take this 8 precept as a maybe some special occasion. So Buddha himself said, particularly in the sutra, if you take 8th day, lunar's 8th day. 8th day is also we call the medicine Buddha day. That day, or miracle month. Miracle month is a lunar's first month. So those two are especially, is effective to if you took those vows. That is what is a moral ethic mean. Like there's one story. 2 men actually came to one Buddhist community area. They are not Buddhism. So they saw those one king offering to the great food to the monks, nuns. And also they saw the king giving lots of good food to the lay people. And when they asked them to king to give them to food, and king gave them really ordinary food. So when they received that ordinary food, he said, why are you discriminating us like this? Yes, we understand if you're not giving us the same food as a monk and nun is acceptable, but you are not giving us to those lay people's food too. So then king said, you are not same as those lay people. They took the vow, the 1-day vow. So that way they are more, holy or more superior than you. That way you don't deserve to be that kind of food because you didn't take the vow. And those 2 men said, if we take the vow, will you give us that food? And so king said, of course, if you take the vow, we will give you food. I will give you food, no problem. I give us those sangha. So they took the vow for a 1-day vow, and they got the food, and they went back home. And once a wife said she provided dinner, and he said, I took the vow. I have to, I have to avoid the dinner. She said, if you're not going to eat the dinner, what I made for you, you disrespecting for me. You are not showing me appreciation. So you're really, kind of like they have a family problem because he's not going to eat dinner what she cooked for him. So she really upset. Then he had to eat because he had to make her please. Then other one kept the vow. So next life, one is born as a Naga, and the other one is born as a king. So, overall, so that is even they took the vow not because of the renunciation, just for the food. That's make different. One kept born to the king because of that 1-day vow. So that reason, even we just take 1-day vow, some occasion time, it's the same as a keeping moral ethic. So that way it have its own result of keeping that much vow. So these two are, every lay people can do these two. So that way we already discussed on those 2 subjects of the generosity and moral ethic. Today is the number 15. If you have the text, I hope you have the text. Number 15 is a patient. Start from there. This is a cause of the how to be patient. It said, Buddha said, thus, since there's no trail equal to patience, like no pair, no one is compared to the equal to the patience. Patient is the ascetic practice. Like a Buddha went to ascetic practice hardship. So hardest practice being is the patience. They are no pair. You must never open the chance to be anger to arise. Buddha has declared that having read yourself, so anger bring attachment to a state of the non-returning. Bring attainment at the state of the non-returning. So what does this mean? There's a lots of different kind of ascetic practice. Like in the non-Buddhism, some people just sitting in the water long time. Some people just sitting on one leg long time. Some people, in the middle of the fire, so hot, they long time, they do practice at the hardship. And also in the Buddhism, we have like a not eating food. And there are so many different kind of, I think it's called ascetic, like a hardship practice. Katu in Tibetan is a katu, mean the hardship, lots of different, but there's no pair to all those hardship practice. They are not saying they are wrong. They all is right. They all good, but they cannot compare to the being patient, patient from the anger. So when you have to be patient, practice of the patient is when somebody is making you angry. So at that time, otherwise, anyone can be really good practitioner of the patience if that is not involved. So that reason is we have to be patient when somebody is driving us crazy. So that way, here main point is saying there's no better benefit for yourself than the patience. Nothing compatible. Actually, being patient it means that being patient is better than we do the Nyungne practice, like not eating. So that is it. Why? Because they said from the being patient, you can reach to the non-return. Non-return is one of the achievement. Arhat. They are free from all the afflicting emotion of the involved to the desire realm, like anger, hatred, jealousy, that kind of afflicting emotion which is related to the desire realm is completely free from that afflicting emotion. So that way they not have to reborn in the samsara again. So that reason is called the non-return. In the Individual Liberation Sutra, in the Vinaya, also, Buddha said, patience is the supreme ascetic practice. By monk who practicing the patience can be achieved the nirvana. So this reason, whenever we are facing to the kind of difficulty, and at that time we have to learn, because Shantideva said, in the way of Bodhisattva conduct, it means that there's no compatible of being patient than anything else a practice. Same thing is there's no bigger negative than anger. So anger is the strongest negative emotion. Patience is the strongest positive emotion. Anger actually can reborn you to the hell realm. Hell realm's main cause is anger from the three poisons. We said like ignorance cause us to animals, attachment cause us to reborn in the hungry ghosts, and anger or aversion cause us to reborn to the hell. Why? Because that is the strongest emotion. So opposite of that, the anger, is the being patient. Of course, if that anger giving greatest result of the negative, then of course the positive of that called the patient will give you the greatest result of the liberation. So that this reason, that reason it said non-returning. So Buddha said, this is what Buddha said. Now, as I said, giving up the resentment. Why we get angry, because of the resentment. What kind of resentment we can get is it saying, like, by holding the grudge, thinking I have been insulted by this one, stabbed and defeated by this one. My wealth have been plundered, or mean took away by this one. Conflict arising evermore. Whoever rid himself of a grudge and goes to sleep at ease. So this is what it means. We have a resentment holding in the heart. First one is to say that I have been insulted by this. It's mean the verbally insult you, abuse you, by word, verbally abuse you, somebody abuse you. Second one is a Tibetan is a ta. I'm not sure this English statement, but other they use as a stuck. It means the beat, physically beat me. So that way defeat you, or vanquish you by verbally abuse and physically beat. So that kind of resentment, if somebody did to you something, okay, or someone took all your wealth. When you have that kind of resentment, then conflict arises. Here, sometimes they use as a conflict. Some other translation they use as a strife. It means the also it's used as a dispute, I think. So that kind of conflict will arise. So actually I have to be patient when that kind of situation. So we have one funny story. There was one monk really upset one day, really upset. Then one of his friends asked, why are you upset today? So much upset. What happened? And that monk said, oh, when I was meditating patient, he disturbed my meditation. So that is a way we can be good practitioner when everything is good. Food is good, weather is good, everybody treat you really wonderful. Then anyone can be great practitioner. Anyone can be noble man or woman. But when we're facing challenge in life, everyone have some kind of challenge. How you react with that is change who you are, noble or not. So when this kind of condition, like somebody did something to you, I'm not saying you have to take whatever happened to you. Of course, this is past tense. If somebody have done something to you, doesn't matter what you do, you never can undo. Like, for example, okay, you have enemies. That enemy did some horrible things to you. Then you get so much suffering from that. When you take revenge, after you taking revenge, it never make you feel release, or it never make you feel happy. Whatever you going on with your thought, it never go away. Long as you hold it, that conflict will be there. So long as you hold it, and it always make you miserable. So this is a resentment, talking about the resentment, So like, for example, one person abuse you verbally, use your really strong negative word, say something really bad one. That person said only one time. But you, by your resentment, you are saying yourself again and again and again and again, continually, many years. So when you do that one by yourself, you couldn't sleep, you couldn't enjoy the food, you couldn't enjoy with the family, and it always have lots of problem comes. So that reason, if you let go the resentment of whatever happened, one thing is definitely happen is you will sleep really well. So that is what Buddha says, go to sleep as ease. So this is not saying as some people think, patient mean that whatever people giving you, take that one. Of course, no need. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect. If something going to happen, you don't have to take. But something happen, and no matter what you do, you cannot do undo unless you forgive. Okay, like if I said to you really harsh word, for example, by your saying back to me harsh word cannot ease you, cannot make you happy, only increase your conflict. But if you forgive me, you think, oh, he's ignorant, or he's have this problem, you try to have sympathy to me and you try to forgive me, at least you're not going to be miserable as I am. So that reason, so that way we have to let go the resentment about whatever happened, because by holding in our heart that resentment, nothing help us. So Buddha said, holding anger to the enemy is the boil oil holding hand to hoping to throw on the enemy. Just hold it in the hand. What happens if you hold a boiling oil in your hand when you're hoping to throw in the enemy? That is a resentment. Okay, think about that. It's good or not good. For resentment is for us. So basically, what did this mean is when something happened, don't hold the resentment. Have to be forgive, be patient yourself. But in the future, how do you deal with it? These kind of things. As Shantideva said, since you cannot help them and they're not really helpful for your practice, Bodhisattva, at that time, you should keep the distance from childish people. Because no matter how much you explain, they're not going to listen to you. They will continue to you. And it's not really helpful for your practice if you're taking so much heat from them, So that way, it's at the, physically, you have to keep the distance. But emotionally, mentally, you never give up, want to help them. I think this is a responsible Bodhisattva should act that way. So sometimes people think, extreme Bodhicitta practitioner, sometimes our kind heart is so big, but our wisdom and skill is so small. So then kind heart want to help them, but the skill is not good enough to help them. Then overall, we make ourselves miserable. So you don't want that. So that way, what Bodhisattva should do, is you have to let go of all the resentment and have to practice as a forgiveness from your heart, not just from literally, forgiveness from your heart, and never give up, care about those beings. But physically, at the moment, should keep the distance from this kind of individuals. I think this is also, we have to think this way. Person really nice to you, being nice to you, they don't need your loving kindness and compassion. Why? Because they are happy. That way they're nice people. because they are positive. That way they are nice people. So you don't need to meditate loving kindness, compassion, because they are not miserable. Who really need loving kindness and compassion is the people being kind of negative, like nasty. Anyone who doing like verbally abusing you, physically, like beating you, those are really miserable themselves inside. This is what I heard in the US. There are lots in the school called the bully kid. Some kids really bullying to other, really bad kids. They bully lots of kids, other kids. So when look their back life, on those bullying kids, they always have some family tragedy, some family problem. They always have some problem. That way they become like this. If they have a really happy life, if they have a really comfortable life, no one wants to become evil. Also look the world history. All those evil beings, they went through so much hardship in the earlier life. They have really horrible life. So that way, when they get power, they think that they're taking chance to be bad to the other, kind of taking revenge. So overall, people who doing bad things, they are miserable. People doing to us, to harm us, or whatever doing negative is, they are miserable. That way they act this way. So you have to look their situation, and then you have to meditate loving kindness and compassion. That loving kindness, compassion is not rewarding to their misbehavior, but you are trying to understand what's going on with them. So I think that reason it's easier for us to how to deal with this kind of situation, because if we try to deal that situation with taking revenge, then its situation get worse. Like if somebody said to you some things really bad, did you some things, right now you have only one enemies. If you defeat that person or take revenge on that person's, then that all the friend of that person is become your enemies. Then when you defeat them, all their enemies, friend, are becoming your enemies. Only you increasing your enemies. Only you increasing so that way you look the history, the war. One country, when they're fighting with a war with the one country, then other country become their enemy. Then when fighting with the other country, and more. And overall, they become their enemies, and they defeat later themselves. So that is how all those powerful nations collapse completely. So this reason, I think, it's not talking about that we are rewarding to that their misbehavior. I think more like we try to end that circle, continuing one. So how to end is you have to put the antidote. So antidote of the hatred is the compassion. That's how Buddha become a Buddha. He free himself from that antidote, or that emotion of the anger, continuing circle of the anger. Is how he free is he meditate on the compassion. So this reason for our what call them what is this use? Like when something happened, now I even forgot that. Our response on this kind of situation, our response should be patient. The compassion, loving kindness and compassion. Okay, then the future of the mind, what kind of mind is it? It said, know that the thought may be like a future down on the water, on the earth, or on the stone. Among them is best for those with the disturbing emotion to be like on the first, and while those with the wish to be dharma to be like a last. So this means that how you keep those memory or mindfulness or how you keep in your thought. Say, if you have a disturbing emotion, like a negative thought, it's just like you have to keep as a like a drawing on the water. Drawing on the water immediately gone. So what it means, we are sentient beings. We are in the samsara. Of course, everyone get upset. Everyone get angry. But we have to learn how to forgive. We have to learn how to let go it, the resentment. So because it's nothing good for anyone, keeping that resentment. So when you have that kind of a grudge or anger, that thought is a need like a drawing on the water. But if related to the Dharma, because it get benefit for everyone, ourselves and other sentient being, anyone around us. So that reason, that is like a corp on the stone. So that thought, how you can keep as a one is a without losing, be mindfulness, and one is a how to forget. It's all the bad things, whatever bad emotion, have a bad circumstance comes, you have to learn how to let go. I think one of my guru, maybe Gajah Rinpoche or one said, I don't remember exactly, said Dharma practitioner being, what called the impatient or sensitive, the mind is okay. But if you keep that resentment, that is really bad. So because we are Dharma practitioners, sometimes our mind is becoming large, especially people who are meditating, their mind becomes really sensitive. Okay. We feel sense more stronger than other. Because we mind is keeping so kind of aware. Okay, our awareness is our awareness is much sharper than others. So sometimes feel like a Dharma practitioner are more sensitive. Even small things make them upset. It can possibly happen, but we have to try to that kind of emotion when comes like any kind of upset. We have to learn how to let go immediately by thinking Dharma. So that is what is what quality of the being learn Dharma, because you immediately use as a remedy on that. If we couldn't use the remedy on that emotion, then our Dharma is useless. So that way, I think the Dharma practitioners thought is it something need like that. When it comes to the negative thought, is it need like a drawing on the water, figuring down on the water. And when come to some positive thought, it's like a figuring down on the stone. Okay, now the mental condition. I think you said can say mental condition. What kind of condition for causing us to anger? So they said it said that the trumpet Buddha, I think Victoria, the Buddha's name is also Victoria over the Mara. So has proclaimed people were to be the three types, like honey, like a flower, or like excrement. Namely, those that fall easily on the heart. So that is like honey, some kind of nice word, a sweet word that falls easily in the heart, like people can feel easily, nice way. And those that is the truthful. So truthful is, I think, a really tricky word, because lots of time truth causes you lots of problem. I got a lots of problem because when some people ask something, say something, I kind of, my answer always come immediately. Answer is always come with the truthful. Then sometimes it causes me lots of problem. So truthful, I think telling truth need lots of skill, because lots of people don't like truth. They like a what called a fantasy. I think most of people live life as a fantasy. They love that kind of lively style. If somebody even not good, if you say something, you know, uh, nice things, they become really happy. Like one time, one of one person, he said to me, he said, "Oh, Khenpo, your English is really good." I said, "It's not true. Actually, it's not true. My English is really broken." And I said, "Please don't say that one. Tell me what is my mistake." So he offense. He thought, "Oh, I try to be nice to him. He not, appreciate my nicety." For me, I like to tell me the if there's I'm making something wrong, if something saying wrongly or something saying, pronunciation is not good, sentence is not good or context is not good, then it's better me to tell me if I make a mistake, then I will learn. But that person never appreciate with that, so he got really upset with me. Later I found out. So that kind of it's a tricky being truthful, is it? But I mean, try to be honest but skillfully. That's why I need great skill for how to tell the truth. Those convey that's false mean that negative. So out of this, read yourself as a last. So always try to avoid saying bad things, because bad things cause yourself as a emotionally misery, and you created other people to get upset. So try to avoiding much as possible, try to avoid the negative word. So that is what Buddha is saying, basically. Nagarjuna said, try to, not make sure, don't say lots of bad words. And, okay, now we said number 19, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so number 19 is a patient. How to patient is that there are 4 types of a person: those who from light to end up the light, and those who from darkness end up the darkness, and those who are from the light end up the darkness, and those who are from darkness end up the light. Be like the first of those. So this means that we do something. Okay, when we do something, it comes the result. So here the darkness and the light is talking about the higher realm and the lower realm. Lower realm is a suffering, it's a really strong suffering. That way it's called the darkness. Higher realm have a more happiness. That way called the lightness. Light and dark as a good and bad. That is a livelihood. So where we have to put the diligent is here saying is for the first one. It means that you in this life, because you have done something good deed in past, that way you are born in the precious human life. Now, if you put more effort and diligent means the do good deed, then it will you reborn in the higher realm or liberated. So it's called the brighter to brighter. But if we, some beings, because in their low realm and their emotion state is stronger, like attachment, hatred, jealousy, that kind of emotion state is a much stronger negative emotion. So that way, they reborn from the low realm to low realm is really easy. So they're coming back is really hard. And some people, they born in the high realm, like human being, get chance to practice the Dharma. Because of their negative emotion, they reborn in the lower realm, like Devadatta and what called Lepikarma, the one monk. So those kind of beings who become a monk, who practice Dharma, but because of they are strong negative emotion, and they born from the light to dark. And some low beings, sentient beings like a hell realm, hungry ghosts, because their negative karma is completely finished of what they created to born there. So once their negative karma is finished, certain point they can be reborn in the higher realm. So that is talking about the dark to light. So from there to what we put the diligent is This life, we were born in the precious human life that can have chance to practice the Dharma because of the past's lightness. Now this life have to do all the good deed, put effort on the good deed too. Next life too, we will be reborn on the higher realms or liberation. So cause to higher realm or liberation is the good deed or military activities. Otherwise you can use as a dharma activities. So the reason where we put the diligent or effort is a good to better one, positive one. That is now said when you put it on the diligent, basically need both matching intention and application. Intention means that your mind, application means that your physically appearance and verbally. So those all have to be. So basically they said, here said people are like the mango fruit. People and mango fruit is similar. What saying is it? Because unripe but seemingly ripe. Some mango fruit is not unripe, but outside skin is looks ripe. Okay, yellow, beautiful, but inside is a sour. Some ripe but seemingly unripe. Some mango is outside you look see the green, but inside is a completely ripe and sweet, really good. Then of course, unripe appearance and unripe. Some mango are outside green, inside not ripe, sour. And some mango ripe appearance as a ripe. So outside looks really ripe and inside also sweet and completely ripe. So understand them to be like that. So this is there's what saying is if you are sometimes some people physically really kind of kind, gentle, and a voice is really sweet, but mind is a really complicated, always try to hurt other negative. But some people physical appearance is really rough. They say like a strong what called the express strong way, harsh way, but heart so kind. So, and some people, of course, heart so really kind and physically also gentle, and some people also, not. So that is it. So if when you rely on the companion, what kind of is a look is the first one is the best one is a rape outside and inside. But if you not find, less you try to find someone rape inside, because main point is a mango is for the eating. Doesn't matter skin is how look, but if you have skin look good look, and then you have comfortable to eating that one, because the outside skin is look nice and also in taste is really good. So that way best is a both rape, but if not, then maybe less have to be inner one. So that way when we put it delicate, point is here saying when we put in diligent effort, you have to be on appearance and application, or intention and appearance both are try to be right one, both are try to be good one. Okay, then I think we'll go to a little bit about the fifth paramita, meditative concentration. Meditative concentration is much harder than other last four. Okay, generosity is the easiest one. Moral ethic is more difficult than generosity. Being patient is more difficult than being moral ethic. Being diligent is more difficult than being patient. So why? Because of giving things is not that difficult. Then giving everything and renouncing from the household life is much harder. Then that's okay to protect your mind from this negative, but being patient about tolerating all the negative when heat comes is much harder. Then not just only tolerating the negative, putting effort to the Dharma practice is much, much harder. So, but still, they are much easier than mental concentration. So that way, they, briefly describe. But then now, mental concentration is really here, what called a detailed explanation. So that way, there's a preparation, actually meditation, and conclusions. So preparation itself, first you have to learn how to avoid the distraction, which is disturb your concentration. So there, for that distraction, you have to control your sense of inner thought. So how do you control your sense? First is guiding your sense of a desire from others' wives. So it means the desirable object, like especially women. So this is talking to the king. That way I said others' wife. But if this is talking to the queen, then have to say others man or husband. So this is because of the lay. So that's basically come this. Do not gaze on the other's wife, but if you do, regarding them as your mother, child, or siblings, depending on their, I have to read from other one. So, okay, do not look at the other's wife, but if you happen to see them, generate recognition of them as according to their age, as your mother, your daughter, your sister should less raise think truly about their body having a nature of a field. So this one you have to know, because it's talking to the man. So that we're talking about the wife or someone is already partner with someone. Like these days, it's not just only attractive from the men to women or men to men. There's also called gay, lesbians. Everyone is included here. If you're gay, then when you see others' partner, how you look, maybe you have to look that person as your brother, you have to look that person as your father, you have to look that person as your your son, based on the age. Still, if you see attractive on them, that someone's partner, okay, talking about specifically someone's partner, someone's already married or engaged, then you have to look them as a filthy, because a human body is everyone, male and female, doesn't matter. Human's body is like a Shantideva said, human body is a really beautiful leather filthy bag. Inside everything is filthy. In human, there's nothing is clean, So that reason, no matter how important we are in our family, when we die, they will pay lots of money to get rid of our body. Why? Because the body is really filthy. There nothing is good. So this is, we have to try to see this one is try to control your sense of a desire, sense of attachment to attractive of the person to person, or like male to attractive to the woman, or male attractive to the male, especially someone who already what called have a partner or have a like a wife or engaged or something, then you have to be you have to protect your sense of desire to them. So that is how you have to protect you by this way. So the same way, if you want to meditate, you have to protect your mind from those desirable objects. Other object, desirable object is also same. So they said, hold your mind tightly, them as a start to be raw as a through it were like your learning Similarly, your child resembling treasure or compatible to be your life. Recoil from the pleasure of sensory object as a thought they are like a venom, poison, weapon, enemy, or fire. So this is you have to protect your mind. It's like a what you learned. What you learn is if you not really keep in your mind, you will forget. So you have to protect whatever you learn. Like, sometimes we learn in the class, in the school, but we never use them, and later we forget totally. We don't remember anything. So that way, if you want to not forget, you have to use them. You have to remind them, where you have to repeat them. So that way it's like that, protecting whatever we learn it. Also like a child need lots of care. You're not allowed to, even by the law, you're not allowed to leave the child alone, house or car or anywhere, without the adults what called the care, adults watch. So why? Because the child is vulnerable and easy to can hurt themselves. Also treasure. It's you have to protect the treasure, whatever you have. Same thing as your life. It's a fragile. Those all easily can hurt. So this mind is similar like that. So protecting from what we is this a mind is a who can hurt the mind is the sense of pleasure, sensory object like a form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and that kind of object is for the mind is the same as a poison is a snake or poison or weapon or enemy or fire. Those, if you get closer, more dangerous. So stay away from far away is much better. Similarly, sensory object, form, sound, smell is similar like that. More you become closer to them, more disturbing emotion come out, more negative emotion come out. And that way to kill your happiness, peace, nirvana, anything is a positive, is completely destroyed by that. So the reason is you have to protect your mind like a child, like a learning, like a treasure. Make sure they're not going to be damaged by a sense of pleasure. So like a sense of pleasure is when we attach to the eye to the form, it's just like a butterfly attached to the flame. They see flame is beautiful, but when they reach too close, they kill. And tongue attached to the taste is like fish catch by hook. Body attached to the touch is an elephant. Elephant tried to mud bath and die on the bed mud. They couldn't stand up. In ear attached to the sound is like a deer. Deer love listening music. Some hunter, they play the music flute or some beautiful music and shoot because they lost the concentration, the animal. So this kind of a sensory pleasure object cause us to damage our losing life, liberty, or happiness, whatever good positive things, our vows or whatever. So the reason we have to protect our mind like this. So maybe last one is I talk. So this is it. Last one is it. Next one is it. 23 is it. If we not avoid the sensory object, what happened is they said sensory object bring ruinage. In the Lord of the Trumpet has said that they are like the kimber fruit, sweet on the outside, bitter within. Abandoning them by their errant chain, worldly people are bound in the prison of recurring samsara. So what this means is the sensor object is really looks nice, form is nice, sound nice, all is attractive. Okay, it's just like a kimbo fruit. Lots of commentaries said there's a one kimbo fruit in the northern island from the India, somewhere in the ocean. There's one island. There's a fruit name is a kimba. It tastes really sweet. They said bitter inside, but commentary said tastes really sweet, delicious fruit. But after if you eat morning, afternoon you will die or really bad ill. So it's a desirable object is like that. When you enjoy it, it's really beautiful. But after that, it bring all the misery. So because of the desirable object, then we bend in the samsara, chain of samsara. Because of the desirable object, we raising all the hatred, jealousy, anger, those all comes. When those all comes, then you lose your sense of awareness of intelligent, then ignorant comes. So when ignorant and all those created the suffering. So that reason the samsara is a continuing, negative emotion create the negative karma create the suffering lost the sense of understanding, then it's a what called the ignorance. So because of the ignorance we have attachment and aversion. So this circle is a continuing. So that way, long as we keep this way, then we never be free from samsara. So that is how we bondage, or we stuck in the samsara as a continuum. So this
Yes,
is
Shambhala.
actually talking about the people who have a strong desire, attachment. If you have a strong hatred, then don't think about that, because it increasing your hatred is not good. But normally this is talking to the desire realm beings. We are in the desire realm. Desire realm have a strongest is the desire, attachment. So with that kind of emotion, desire, attachment, strong desire or attachment emotion, then you should think this way. But some people have a strong angry, hatred, then it's not good to think in this one. Then it's increasing your hatred. So it's not healthy to think. Joy Sam Joy Ramboy Chemanje Banai Ye Joy Jebai Nyambai Membai Kone Gondo Bewai Joy Dada Konde Time Jeje Dusondo Sabada Yebe Jeve Zawan Tata Sije Taje Nyando Lana Mamba Yanda Ba Zobe Janju Rembo Je Toba Joje Shisha Kose Kunje Chuje Je Tende Nela Wanda Tekon Bar Jembe Je Tembas Shedru Tuzan Gombe Zenjoje. Thank you so much. I think most of you are too late, so I don't want to say it anymore.